This year is going to be a brand new edition for Warhammer 40,000. 11th edition will be dropping, and with it, I'm sure we're going to get updated rules on how to play the game. And in this video, I want to share my own opinions on how I would like to see new rules, new things happen that brings a little bit more fun back to the game, a little bit more personality back into the system that would make the game more enjoyable. Now, as I've just mentioned, everything that I'm about to talk about is my personal opinion. When we come to play Warhammer, everyone plays it in their own way. Some people do it in a narrative way. Some people do it in a more tournament competitive way. Just please don't blow a gasket, because my way of playing may be different to yours. Now, before we jump into the meat and bones about 11th edition and what I want to see, I want to briefly talk about 10th edition, because this affects the video on what I want to see brought in that new edition. And it's no secret about my thoughts on 10th edition. I've talked about this all the time on live streams. I personally feel like 10th edition is aimed at competitive play. I think it's lost its soul a little bit, its personality, its character, because when you have a game like Warhammer 40,000, I think it should be balanced in the best way possible. You should have a narrative element to it. You should have a competitive element to it. But I think what we've seen is it's gone too much to the competitive side at this moment, and the narrative side is suffering for that, and it's just made the game unfun. Now, this may be a side note, but I've been saying for a while, maybe competitive play should have its own point system, maybe its own rule system, because what I normally find is we get this cool unit in the game. Let's just take, for example, this nice old tank. We get this awesome tank. It's fantastic. You go out, you buy one, but in the competitive scene, it's so good, you go out and you buy 3 of them because you want to max it out. You want to bring as much devastation as possible, because in the competitive scene, you're there to win it, okay? Completely understandable. But then what happens is that GW see this, they go in, they nerf it, they upgrade the points, maybe they nerf some of the weapons because it's being abused in the tournament scene, and then you, Mr. Just average Joe casual player, you're the one left with this tank that's suffering because the competitive players are then jumped onto the next super amazing item, and you, who is just in it for the narrative to have some fun with your friends, you're the one who's left suffering. I have no idea if that will ever be fixed, if that could ever be balanced, but I do see that is one of the big problems that we have currently with models and playing them in the game. Anyway, let's jump into what I would like to see in 11th edition, and the first big thing, it's probably the biggest elephant in the room, and that is terrain. I think when it comes to Warhammer 40,000, there's a massive problem with terrain. Terrain is just plonked down in front of you. There's a bunch of L shapes, right? You have this building there, that building there. You have a little objectives there. You're normally hiding your guys behind the building, line of sight and stuff. It's just so boring. When it comes to Warhammer, right, for me, it's this amazing epic story. You paint these models, you put so much time into them. Let's take, for example, Hellbrek. You get your Hellbrek down, your sword brethren, vengeance for Armageddon, right? That's what you want to shout. You put it down, and it's just an L-shaped bloody building there. It just loses a lot of appeal for me. I want Games Workshop to add more to the terrain system inside of this game. Terrain should be a major factor, not only for like blocking line of sight, but let's say, for example, right, you put your guys inside of a building. This is how it works in another game, by the way, called Bolt Action, which is a massive improvement when it comes to 40k in terms of terrain. I will ride their horse into the sunset because it just works perfectly. They have like a multi-system when it comes to their terrain. You can have like a building hole and stuff, like you can have it as like a partly blown up, or have it as ruins, and that can all happen throughout the game because the terrain itself is an actual physical thing, a part of that system. If you have guys inside of a building, you fire a HE shell inside that building, boom, that building will explode and your guys will suffer. That could like stop people from like just camping around buildings like, haha, you can't get me, you can't see me kind of thing. I've got cover in this building. Well, guess what? I'm going to remove the building. And then you get absolutely zero cover at all. And that then could potentially affect the actual way the battle flows. Because if you have like, let's say, whole buildings at the start of the game, and you're constantly shooting at those buildings, blowing them up, and they're falling down, then that changes like the line of sight, the way the battlefield actually works, which makes sense in like a story element as well. Maybe some competitive players will say, well, that's going to change it too much and it could be getting unfair, but I think it just adds a little bit more tactical gameplay to the actual game itself. It adds a little bit more personality to the game. There's stuff like in the game where if you have a tank in bolt action, you can literally ram it through the building, cause damage, and bring the building down. How amazing would it be if you've got like a bunch of like Chaos Space Marines just camping in the building and you just ram your Land Raider through it, bring it down? Maybe they could do like a system where, like, you know, like a vehicle explodes if you're in a building and the building collapses on you. Maybe something like that, right? You have to roll some dice. Every one or something is like a dead Marine or something like that. That's what you get for camping in a building. Yes, you do get that I should say leadership. Yes, you do get that bonus to your cover save, but it can also work against you if a shell goes in there or like a big vehicle rams it and takes it down. It's kind of a risk to guarantee situation then. I think that would be an absolute massive improvement. Not only that, I think they should actually improve on the terrain system itself, like the layouts and stuff. I'm sure the competitive players won't like that because I understand like you have to have like this L-shaped building there, that L-shaped building there to like make it a little bit more balanced. But when you look at like competitive scenes and stuff for again, Warlord Games, Bolt Action, look at their boards compared to the 40k competitive boards. It's night and day. Their boards tell a story. They look nice. They look gorgeous. Like, I would choose one of their boards to play on over a 40k competitive board every day of the week. Big changes I would like to see to terrain. Again, am I wrong? Am I right? Post it down below with your opinions. I would love to read them. Now, this may be a controversial one, but the next big thing I would like to come back is war gear. I absolutely love war gear. 8th edition is when I really started to jump in and play 40k properly. You know, I've always been a fan like reading the books and stuff, but 8th edition was the time I really jumped in feet first, and we had a bunch of war gear then, and I personally thought it added a lot of personality to the faction that you was playing. For example, I'm going to take my Imperial Fist. Back in 8th edition, we had like war gear like the Eye of Hipponoth, which allowed like a lieutenant like around your squads to reroll ones if you came to wound a target and stuff like that. That cost more points to add to your unit, but it added a little bit more flavor to your actual army then. No one else could get it. Like, the Black Templars couldn't get it, the Ultramarines couldn't get it, but my Imperial Fist could get it. And again, as someone who is in like playing this faction because I love this faction, I'm dedicated to this faction, it just meant a little bit more of a story, a little bit more personality to my armor that no one else had. And you had things that I didn't have. So when it come to it, like, it was more competitive, I thought, because you could use things that I can't use. I can use things that you can't use. It was like a perfect balance. It was a dance in a way of like just the rule of cool when it comes to stuff. I personally think it adds more personality to the actual system itself when you start bringing war gear back. What we have at the moment is you don't really pay for anything anymore. Everyone has access to everything. And I get it, right? You play, like, for example, Ultramarines, I play Imperial Fist. But at this moment in time, we are more or less the same. Nothing separates us apart from our characters. You can play like this, I can play like that kind of thing. What makes me separate from you? There's absolutely nothing. Back in the day, I used to have like bolter drill and all that kind of cool stuff. Roll 6s, right? I get an extra hit because I'm a son of dawn. You know, we train with our bolters. All that bloody amazing thing. I think that's what's been lost from Warhammer 40,000, that personality, that story element. And this goes back to like the competitive balance. I think you have to have that balance. We don't have that, so it's got more competitive scene, so everyone can take everything and everyone can just like match each other, mirror each other, and I think they see it as more like a balanced way. But for me, I would like that brought back then, because I think that is more of a balance in a way, because then I can take things that you can't take, and it comes down to like skill and using that unit over than just, you know, maybe I roll this dice and you roll that dice, I hit with my dice, you don't hit the dice, because we both have the same thing, and it's just, I don't know, down to chance, maybe? I don't know. Maybe I'm going too far down the rabbit hole of this one. But war gear, I would love to see brought back. I thought it added a lot more to the game, and fingers crossed that does return. And something else I would like to see brought back is blast templates. Now, hear me out right before you start angry typing to me. I wasn't really a fan of blast templates back in the day. But once I started to play with more blast templates, like when I started to play Horus Heresy a little bit in the past couple of years, I really got attached to blast templates. I thought it added so much more, again, personality, more fun to the game. There's more risk and stuff when you come to like drop something on a guy and then you roll some dice and it comes back and it's on you. You're like, oh my holy emperor, I have ruined everything. I'm going down in a blaze of glory. Again, it's just that little bit more fun, a little bit just more spice, just more character added to the game. Flavor templates, you know, explosion templates, all that type of stuff. I know that's kind of a bad one for a lot of people, but blast templates, I don't know. Am I wrong? Would you like to see them brought back? Now from here, prepare the spiciness, because this is where we really do lose ourselves. One thing I would absolutely love to see 40k do, maybe do it as a trial, right? Maybe like a 6 months trial. If not, then just go back to the old system. What if we did something like alternate turns? So for example, what we have at the moment is you go first, you move, shoot, charge, and then once you've done all that, I move, shoot, and charge. Our entire armies. That's how it works. But what if we did something where if you got to go first, you can move, shoot, and charge one unit, then after that, I could move, shoot, and charge one unit. So it becomes a dance rather than just a full-on stampede of an army going up the board. Because one of the problems that I have at this moment in time when it comes to Warhammer 40,000 is that whoever turn it is, the other person is literally just sat there doing nothing for a massive majority of the game. Yes, of course, they're re-rolling if it comes to shoot and stuff like that. Well, if I'm shooting you and you're saving. But for the most part, you just sat there. And for me, when it comes to, again, we go back to a bolt action. They have an alternate activation where you get dice out the bag. It's just completely random. But the way it works, for example, if you pick your dice out the bag and you get 3 of your dice out that bag and you go 3 times in a row, that doesn't mean that's a good thing, because you're at a tactical disadvantage then, because you have to move 3 of your units up the board, right? And potentially that could come into my play because I can then outflank that unit with 3 of my units, because statistically I've got more dice inside your bag. Again, I'm not saying like the dice in the bag thing, but maybe just like you go, I go, you go, I go. Again, I'm not sure it could work for 40k in the current rule system, but maybe, just maybe, try it. I've actually tried it with Imperial Knights, with me and some of my friends on the channel, and with Knights it works absolutely bloody amazing. But that is a knight-on-knight battle. Again, I'm not sure if it could work with the current rules, the current power settings of Warhammer 40,000, but maybe, just maybe, a little bit of a test and see how that potentially could work. I think it could be a massive game changer if it came to Warhammer 40,000 in terms of engagement and fun with the game. And if you thought alternate activations were spicy, then strap yourself in for this one, because I've spoken about this on stream and I will die on this hill. I will die like Gilliman is a heretic to his brothers, okay? I'm still on that hill. You will not move me from it. I think if you wipe out an enemy's army in the game, I don't care if it's turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, you automatically win the game. That's how it should be. So let's say you have Bobby over here. He's got 80 points. You've got 20 points, but you're on the last couple of turns and you manage to like get in his back line and it just collapses and you wipe them out. And by turn 5, he's got 90 points, but he's got no armor, but you've got units left, but you manage to table him. You should automatically win. Right? I don't care. This is war. This is Warhammer 40,000. You cannot control an objective, right? You cannot win objectives if you have no army on the board. That's how I see it. I really, 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 really wish that would be a thing. That's how me and my friends play. We just go in and we just smash each other in the face, okay? We want to win. I think that would stop a lot of things in the game. Again, I'm sure there's some competitive players absolutely seething at this idea, but for me, that's war. That's 40k, right? That's the eternal war. That's what we want. I want to go in, blood for the blood god, charge you down, take your skulls, give it to Khorne. I don't want you hiding behind building 1 for 4 turns, camping, getting 5 points and stuff like that, right? Camp there, but I'm coming for you. And when I come for you, I'll wipe out your units because I'm pushing up the board. I don't care about my objectives, right? I'm coming for you. If you want to play objectives objective play, then that's down to you. But I'm coming for your skull. That's my play style. And if I manage to do it, it's a risk, it's a gamble, because you're spread out right. I'm cutting myself in, I'm charging forward. But if it does work out and I do take you down, then blood for the blood god, glory for me. That is an action winning play. Again, am I wrong? Am I right? Post it down below and we can have a nice little chin waffle down there. I'm sure there's other things that I forgot about in this video. Again, I briefly mentioned it like with war gear, but like bringing things back for like, especially Space Marine stuff like bolt action, it's not bolt action's the game. Their bolter drill and stuff like that. Maybe little things like that brought back for different factions as well, so they get little bits of personality. So if you play them, you have something that no one else has and stuff like that. But again, I would love to get your thoughts and feedback on this. Anything I've said that you hate, anything that I've said that you like, post it below. There's really no wrong answers when it comes to this. Everyone has their own opinions and ways they play the game. I know a lot of people get upset because I say I play the game this way, and like I'm not trying to force my way of playing on you or your way of playing on me. It's just how we all have fun. At the end of the day, that's what the game's designed for, right? It's to have fun with your friends, roll some dice, and enjoy life. That's how I see it. Anyway, thanks for coming. Have a great day, evening, night, where you're around the world, and bye-bye.